Aloha and welcome to my shop. Thanks so much for joining me here just a few days before Christmas. It's December 20th and about to start on this radio here. Another beauty, I'm pretty sure. Underneath this bubble wrap is a fantastic looking radio. Look at that. A Philips. Fantastic. Now I think I'm just going to stop for a second here right now and get the bubble wrap off my bench. Get the radio ready for inspection here. Okay, let's take a look at this radio. Wow, it's fantastic looking. You know, I wonder sometimes how radios make it this far into the future in this kind of condition. So this is probably, I'm going to guess, from the 1970s. I would guess. And I'm just looking at it here, looking for any significant deficiency in the front of the radio here. I can't find anything. Nothing significant whatsoever. There's a little minor scratch here. I mean, it just means nothing. Wow. You know, maybe when a radio is good looking right from the start, it's more likely to stay that way because people protect it a little more. Or if they think they have something special, as opposed to a routine thing, maybe they thought this was a very, very special radio. So let's not back up. Let's get closer to it here. Well, what do we got going here? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 bands. We've got the regular broadcast band here. Low end is here, the higher frequency is this end. And we have a shortwave band running from 3.5 to 7.5. So it's got the 49 meter band in the middle of it here. Oh, it's marked. And they call it 50 meters. And then they have the 60 meter band also marked. Even the 90 meter band. Oh, yeah, there's shortwave broadcast down here. Up on the top band is going from, probably from the end here, from 7.5 all the way up to, that's 15, just the 19 meter band. Here it is, 20 meter band, they've listed it as 25. So they just picked nice round numbers here, 40, 30, 25, 20. So on the top here is this rather unusual array of zigzags with numbers. And I'm going to guess that that's the index. So because over time, you know, these dials, they cannot maintain their accuracy, and everybody knew it, or their precision. Everybody knew it. Often they would supply an index, especially in communications receivers. Then when you tune in a signal, then you think you're going to want to, you know, tune that in again and again. You write down the index number. You don't try to write a number off of this. I mean, look, here's 15, here's 14, where's 14,500? They didn't even bother marking it in the middle. So that gives you an idea of just how inaccurate they kind of expect this to be. There are some little tiny numbers in here. What is that? This must be the meter measurement. Because it has 19 here, just a little tiny number right above my finger. Likewise, there's 20, 22, 26, 30. So I think these are the meter numbers. You know, the wavelength. Same thing's done here. And they should kind of match up with these. The 50 meter band, yeah, sure enough, the number 50 is right below the 6 there. So looking at the broadcast band, the same thing is done. The meter number's written here. So 1500 kilocycles is 200 meters. Here we have, does that say OM? DC? OC, OC, OM? 1, 2, and 3 are written there. No, they aren't. It's just 1 and 2. OC, OC, and OM. So this got to be like shortwave, and medium wave. I don't know what the C is for. There's a small tick mark right here, just above my finger. There's another tick mark right here. These are probably alignment marks. And then there's a tick mark right there. Again, that's probably the dial pointer alignment mark. Let's check it. Let's see if it lines right up. Yeah, it's right on the money. Pointer on the string in the right place. Now what's the story on FM here? Because I'm turning the only tuning knob and it's just moving this upper knob. Must be a gearing arrangement, as there often is in these radios. And when you select FM, gears shift and the string drive now drives a different tuner with a different pointer, and that's got to be what's happening. So the it says, it's very hard to see, off, pickup, medium wave OM, shortwave 1 OC, shortwave 2 OC, FM. So you push FM, I should now have caused a gear shift, and we should see this pointer move. You can barely see it right there. And the word uh-oh comes to mind at this point. I think this is an uh-oh. So I don't see anything moving down here. The upper pointer has stopped, so we've disengaged from the upper mechanism. We're on the FM. Whether it's actually tuning the tuner and the pointer's just fallen off or something. The pointer's barely popping up here. You would think it would go right across. Okay, I can see something else is going on here. I think I gotta get there. Let's get the close-up camera happening here and take a closer look. And where is that camera? Usually I can figure it out by looking. Oh, it's my foot. Yes, it's down here on the floor. When did it get down there? At some point. Okay, assuming my camera's still good. Yes, it is. So we take a look for okay, so I'm looking at the FM dial. So there's the little red thing. What's that black line back there? I'm going to tuning now. I don't know what the black line is. What I caught sight of was there's some backing paper which seems to be shifted. Now I see it. I see it from this angle here. So you can see there's a white sheet, and it's going back and disappearing from view there. Often these radios have sheets in them, diffuser sheets suspended between the pointers and the light bulbs. And those diffusers are often suspended in what are pretty, I don't want to say, pretty surprising ways. Let's put it that way. They use a lot of strings and springs and stuff to hold these sheets. So I think we'll find that one of them has come loose here, and it's moved out of position. It's actually come forward, and that's what I think's happened there. Now, is that why the string's not happening? I doubt it. So here's a tone control. And so these usually have a wheel turning behind the symbols here, and as you adjust the control, there's not much room here. You should see the color change in there. I don't, you know what? I don't. I can imagine it, but I don't. So something amiss there. Well, this wheel turns a long ways. Yeah, there's nothing happening. Let's see if the other one does the trick here. The blue dot is my camera, is the LED of the camera, in case you're... I don't see any... Usually it's just a simple wheel turning with the knob, and it's colored, you know, white and red, and as the red part comes up behind the little notes, it should change. but they don't. Oh well. Just now I have the close-up camera. You can see the little tiny numbers they've written out. Look at these, like 7.5. You know what? These have a suspicious look to them. I can't imagine this to be the case, but they have the look of glowing paint. So we're going to check this for radiation at some point, but I just really doubt it could be what I think it might be. So we'll check it. Radioactive paint. I would be stunned. It really can't be. Biamply. What is that? Biamply. Never seen that name before. Well, this is the name on the radio, Philips. And it has the classic Philips crest here, but it has this here. Biamply. Campley. I don't know what that is. Is that the company that made this for them? With the radioactive. Now, is there any paint on the front? No, it's all on the back. All on the back. Got some push buttons up here. They're usually tone selectors. They have some words that go with it to explain what they are. Oh, it could have been right on the button faces and it's all worn off. Well, usually people aren't pushing these buttons a lot. Maybe it's down here. Oh, there it is. Parola, Fidelita, Modesta, tape record, and extension speaker. So that's what they are. Well, that's unusual. Speaker, tape record, and then these are tone controls. So the top three are tone controls. But if you want to play a record, you got to push that button. And if you're tall enough like me, you cannot see any of this. I mean, I'm looking down from here, right? You can't see a single word. It's all hidden way below here. This radio is made for short people or high shelves. Oh, one more thing on the front. It has a magic eye up here. And the eye is in there. You can see the white material is inside the tube, and the white material is turned kind of darkish. You can see some dark bands. That's a sign that it's worn out. Yeah. Okay. Lots on the front of this radio to look at. Let's turn it around now and see what's on the back. It's got landing gear. This is the landing gear lever. My gosh. Let's take a look at the power plug here and get that out of the way. I just don't think this is original. Black wire, brown plug. This is interesting, and something similar to the strain relief. That's not so common. That's something that would come with the original, I would think. So maybe they just somebody's replaced the plug here. They didn't do a very good job of it because the wires are different lengths going in. The plug wants to be. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe it goes in the outlet like that. Hang perfect. Maybe it's a super job. Rest of the cord. This is a lovely shape. So is this original? It's in lovely shape. Good, no problem with that. Now, what do we got on the back here? So what is this actually? This is the Ferrocapture Orientable. So ferrite receptor. It's probably Instalbear. I have no idea what that means. But I think we know what this is. This is to steer the antenna. That gives it roughly a 90 degree turn there, roughly. So that's really no surprise there. Well, it's a little unusual to have this. There's a big problem with these radios. All radios that have the rod type antenna in them, which I often call a loop antenna, but I should be calling it a rod antenna, they're very directional. You put the radio down and it's aimed. So you put the radio down on your favorite counter, it's aimed, and it may not be aimed right. And so you have to rotate the whole radio, maybe to pick up the station you really want to pick up. That's a drag, so why not just rotate the antenna? So that's what this is all about. Philips Electronic Industries, Toronto, Canada. There's the model number, B5X88A. Something only Philips 800 ohm high impedance loudspeakers. Oh, that's unusual. Consult your Philips dealer for details. I will do that. I will have to do that. My Philips dealer. Is that true of the speaker that's inside? It could very well be that the speaker inside is also. They have it written right there, 800 ohms to slap you in the face. Look at this. This is danger. I'm not sure exactly what the finger with the lightning bolts coming out of it. Get your attention anyway. A little window so you can read this RF17, whatever that is. Maybe that's the version of the chassis or the chassis number. We have a sticker here that's partly missing. It says, attention, disconnect line cord before removing cover. Disconnect, must mean unplug it. There's no interlock here that I can see anyway at this point. There's a rivet here holding something. We have the stereo, got to be a tape deck input. And it's showing one is grounded. It's just for a mono tape deck. And PU is for the record player. There's a nice picture of it for people like me who can't sort out symbols like that. They have a nice picture of what it actually is. Can't go wrong. It's a sticker to make it approved for sale here in Ontario. So this was imported for sale here. For sale here. It was built here, maybe, eh? Philips Electronics Industries Limited. Well, I don't know if it was built here or if this is just the name of the import company. It's got different voltages here. You can set. It says 110 there. The screws on the back don't match. Different screws. That's a sign of its journeys. And we should take the back off. We should take the back off. Now, and you need 2 different screwdrivers, of course. This was made for sale in North America. How come this isn't in English? Or they didn't put a sticker over it or something like that. That doesn't feel right. Something's broken off on the other side here. These two look like drop clips up here. Nope, they're not. Looks like we pop it up and slide it out. The antenna here, we should take a look at this just before it's too late. We have this nifty guy here. That's got to be going to the FM antenna because it's got a 300 ohm lead here, but look, that symbol is the FM symbol, the symbol for the FM diode. This would probably have been in these holes. Very confusing set of stuff here. So it has an antenna with some weird symbol here and then a dotted line. Ground symbol here. Both ground symbols here. Two ground symbols. and a link here that can be swung into their place here, but it's contacting nothing. So what's that all about? I'm going to put this back where it was. Okay, we can get the back off now. Up, up, up. Nope. Have to come right out, do they? Catching on here. There we go. Okay, nothing on the back side. This. Going to here. So this was meant to come and kind of hang down like this. Why would they ever bother with that? Who would want this hanging out here like this? I mean, this is not helpful. Is that what this is really for? Can't imagine what else it is. What do we get on the back here? We get, oops, I just slapped my microphone there. Sorry about that. We get all of that. We get a tube layout. Now the last European radio I did was a Polish radio. There were some problems here. EL84, 6BQ5 output tube. EL86 here. EM84, it's the very same I tube as the last radio of this sort, an EM84, it's quite clear. ECC85, this has got both the North American and the European numbers on it, which would suggest it's meant for sale in North America. So it's interesting that each European tube has a North American counterpart. It's just the same tube with a different numbering on it. An EZ80 for the rectifier. Oh, wait a minute, 6V4? 6V4? Well, okay, I haven't heard of a 6V4, but that must be another, that must just be another label for the same rectifier. Okie dokie. What do we got in there? What did I just lose on the floor? So that screw clip came off. I should look for that. This screw clip thing. You can see how it's over here. This clip fits into a slot system here, and there we go, like that. Then this screws into it. Put the screw, even though this isn't really the right, not the original screw. No, I'm not going to stick it in there. I'm going to stick it over here in my magnetic tray. And hey, I can thank the person by name for my magnetic parts tray, which I see stuff sticking to it everywhere. Thank you, Dave M. from Brigus. Brigus. Now that's a town in Newfoundland, I think. Brigus. Okay. Tubes are all in. There's no shields on these tubes anywhere. This one's knocked sideways. Well, we can see why the FM tuning isn't working. It's not just dismounted, it's a broken string. So I see there's a wire here too that's related to it. You can see the string, the other part of the string way up yonder there. So that's why we're getting no FM tuning here. Let me just turn this by hand a little bit. Oh yeah, it turns just beautifully. So why exactly the string decided to break, I don't know. But it looks like there's metal coming out of here and string coming out of this wheel. At the same time, little bits of felt debris. Where did this come from? It's from nothing, probably. steerable antenna. Check out these speakers. A big one, that's a pretty big speaker. And then a mid one. There's no tweeter hidden in here. And to me it looks like, at a glance, these are in series. You got a black wire coming up here, catching this terminal, which is also grounded to the frame. We have a wire coming here, and we have a wire from the frame here coming over here. No, they're not in series. And then here's the other wire. So this is coming from, appears to be coming from in here. These are the switches. Some of them are tone switches. The other speaker wires appear to be coming from somewhere back yonder here. A great big power transformer sitting here with all the leads right out here where you can get them with your hand. I said the tubes weren't in sleeves. Here's one hidden from view in a sleeve. I overlooked it. So the question would be, why not plug this radio in and try it out? I believe the owner purchased this with an understanding that it was a working radio. So clearly the FM part's in a bit of trouble when it comes to tuning. Why would we not try this out? So maybe what might be fun is I'll use my newfangled adjustable transformer power supply. Usually I'm starting up things like this using a dim bulb system, which, you know, I really actually believe in. I'm very familiar with it. Very simple way of preventing a small disaster if there's something seriously wrong in the radio you're about to power up. The real disaster would come if you were relying on your house circuit breaker or fuse, and the short circuit that's developed in whatever you're working on just isn't drawing enough power to pop the fuse. And then in that case, a fire is what's going to come next. I don't think there's any reason why we should hesitate too much here. Let's take a look at all the goodies I've got to make myself safe. And if this is the first, you know, there's a chance you're a new viewer and this is the first time you've watched one of my videos. So things have become a little extra complicated just in the last week for me when I've introduced this device. So right now, this meter is just telling me what the general line voltage is in my shop here. And it's 100 on the meter there, 121 volts right now. If I push this button, now the meter shows what the output is from this transformer, and it's 0 right now because the knob here is set to 0. Yeah, things get complicated. The output from this could go straight to the radio, but it doesn't. In my shop, it works its way through this switch panel up here and through these light bulbs, and then out this extension cord to this outlet. This outlet. You notice the third prong is sticking out here? There's no third prong business happening. Now, a lot of you are going to be familiar with this exact device, and you know there's a 3-prong plug on this, and if you plug it in the wall, that third prong will be produced right to here. But this is not plugged in the wall. This guy is plugged into an isolation transformer you cannot see. So I've really kind of, no, I'm going to take that back. Let's back that whole thing up. This guy is, it's a fairly new piece of equipment, so I'm still getting it straight in my head what I'm doing with it. This guy is plugged straight into the wall. So there is a hydro or power company ground down here. And it's conveyed on this cord up into my switch box, but it doesn't go anywhere beyond that. So when you get to here, I mean, this is just 2 wires, right, coming to my outlet. There's no way there's a 3rd wire ground coming out. Even though it looks like I have a 3-prong plug here, I really don't. Okay, I have a 2-prong plug. 3rd prong just going nowhere. So the thing about this, and the reason I'm telling you this, is because people arrange their shops in different ways when it comes to how things are grounded. They could have a fully floating shop, they could have a fully grounded shop. There's all kinds of ways to do this. So the main thing is to know what is happening in your own shop, and it can become a challenge. So I'm going to pull this probe out of here for now. I'm still experimenting with that a little bit. So what I'm going to do to do this, by the way, this comes with a little more protection. There's a circuit breaker. I think it's a 4-amp circuit breaker here. It's not very much current. I also have, just so you know, I have fuses. I have a fuse in line here, you know. And then this device, I didn't really talk about this. You can buy this for $40 or whatever it is. Buy quite a number of these kinds of things. They're really handy. So the power that's coming out of here is shown on here. So you can see the voltage, you can see the amount of power being drawn, all that kind of stuff. This is quite a handy little guy. And since they're within view, you can see this meter and this meter, both of them showing 0. I can't remember where I plugged that one. I think I have it plugged into my... I won't say anymore. Let's turn up the output here and just see it. Those meters start rising. I'm going to put this right up to 117. There's a little red line there that marks it. We have 117 coming out of here, going into my switch panel, heading for the light bulb in the outlet. Boy, this is the most confusing explanation of this very simple situation. In she goes. It's only a 2-wire non-polarized plug on this radio anyway, so the whole talk about the 3rd prong doesn't really have any impact. Now, I'm still going to feed the power through this one light bulb. This one is screwed loose, unscrewed, so there's no power. I'm going to go through it. I'll throw this switch up. I enable this stuff. I throw this switch down. The power is now directed through the light bulb to the outlet. I throw this switch up. The power is directed straight through the outlet, not through the light bulb. The light bulb will restrict power big time. This is the longest explanation I've ever done of that. So if you want to know more about what I'm doing here, just type into Google dim bulb system or something. Yeah, dim bulb system. And you'll be able to find some information about what it is I'm up to here. Because this is a really good way to do this. And you don't need this piece of equipment. You can do this with some light bulbs, incandescent light bulbs. So when I hit the switch, now you have some notion of all the things that are going on in the background here. And what is going to happen. We want to keep our eye on that light bulb. When you turn it on. Turn the power on. First I'm going to turn off this radio. Switch is off, it should take no power. So when I energize things, this light should not glow. If it does, we're in trouble already. Here we go. $117 volts sitting right here. Now, as soon as I turn the radio on, this voltage will drop. You won't see it on this meter. The voltage will drop a bit because this light bulb is going to have a voltage drop on it, which is the whole idea. And what we're looking for, if the radio is actually working properly and everything is good enough here, this bulb will come on moderately bright for a few seconds and then get weak, as the amount of current drawn by the radio will actually reduce shortly after turning it on. And then some number of seconds later, the amount of power drawn by the radio will begin to increase, and the light bulb will start glowing brighter. This is a fairly big radio with a number of tubes in it. Probably going to get fairly bright, but we'll see. We'll see. If there's something wrong with the radio, it's really reflected by this light bulb very quickly, and my little brain will pick up on the problem. I don't have to look at a meter and try to pick this up and read numbers. That light bulb will slap me in the face. That's the whole idea. So the radio is still switched off. I'm going to switch it on. I'm going to pick the medium wave, and make sure the volume's down. Medium wave. Okay, so we should see panel lights. We should see this bulb. Not much else. Offhand, I'd say absolutely nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Still have exactly 117 volts here, which is not possible when I'm running the power through this light bulb. Turning it on did not turn it on. A lot of these radios have problems with their on-off switches, which is why I'm dwelling on this, by the way. I want to discover now that you can't turn it off or you can't turn it on. Well, let's try it again. Did that light flash? Did that light flash? I don't think so. Did I see something there? Medium wave. Watching the light now. No. Not that it should make any difference, but we'll try another button. Shouldn't make any difference. So a couple things could be amiss here. Everything from a fuse blown in the radio. There could be a fuse back there. We didn't spot it. Off. Or let's pull this out. A visible break in the circuit for safety. Power off. Okay. Well, that was not quite what I would hope for. When somebody buys a radio and they're told it works, you would think, gee, at least the lights would come on, wouldn't they? Okay, so first thing is to hunt down a fuse. Hunt down a fuse. The fuse is going to be right around in here. Normally. Odd that now these radios almost always have a fuse. In fact, they often have a fuse in the high voltage circuit. A small fuse, sometimes two. And if you have a fault in the high voltage circuit, you just pop the high voltage fuse. You would think they would put the fuse where it's really easy to get to. And this is not the fuse. So extracting this radio from the cabinet is quite a chore here. We've got push buttons. They are wired in to the chassis. We have speakers. They are wired in. There's no plugs. And more than one speaker. Some funny wiring with them. The chassis must come out because there's no hope of me fixing the string on the FM tuner with it in the cabinet. It has to come out. They almost always do. I'm waiting for the fuse to pop into my view here, but it's not. The fuse is not appearing. Okay. That's not good. That's not good. We really want to spot the fuse here. Son of a gun. It's just possible it's somehow installed way up under here. I can't imagine that. Why would they do that? Fuses have a life in the long run. They will blow, well below their rating in the long run. So occasionally a fuse will blow. You're going to have to change it, even if there's no problem in the device. So this guy comes out. Most of these radios, European style radios, the whole front panel, buttons and all, everything goes out. These are screwed into the cabinet, but everything else is going to go. And the eye up here has to be taken care of, and the speakers. The eye is on it's on a knurled clip here. Get it out easy enough. Out it comes. Okay, the wires are, something dropped down in the radio there, like a sleeve or something. Dropped down. This is just a simple clip here. There we go. Okay, so that's free. The eye is free. And it's exactly the same as the last radio. Now, speakers. Speaker wires. Boy, oh boy. What do you want to do about that? And large cabling, lots of cables coming up to this set of buttons. I see the screws are I've got red paint, blocking paint on them. This one doesn't make sense, and this one doesn't make sense. These speakers have been removed from this radio previously. Here's the antenna here, kind of the top of the cabinet. I really hadn't seen it because my eyes, I'm a little higher than the camera. The camera's seeing in just a little better. That's a heck of a schmozzle here. So this is a complicated little antenna that they've done. This is not your run-of-the-mill kind of thing I would do. I think a serious engineer has come up with this. So we see the, well, let's start with the, so this is the lead that comes all the way from the radio. So here it's making it, that's this thing. So, okay, so all the way up here, when it gets to this point, it is, isn't that something? It's wide into a Y arrangement. One part goes to these clips. You know what they're clipping? This is a big sheet of tin foil up here, I think. Up here. Oh, it sure doesn't feel like tin foil. Let me get down. I gotta get down to my knees here to look at it. Well, it comes way over here. This must be a tin foil that's been painted over. Oh, like what else could it be? I can bend a corner here, we'll know. Doesn't want to bend. It's painted right in there. There. That's not metal. It's got to be. It's got to be aluminum. It's got to be aluminum. I've seen this many times. The trick is how you're going to connect these wires to the aluminum. And what they've done here is they've done some kind of a clipping arrangement. The wire terminates into this spring clip, which then is very cleverly clipped to the aluminum somehow. Well, anyway, the bottom line is, and in this piece, this is the piece that caught my attention. This piece going up towards the front and just ends, and the ends of the wire are twisted together. So that's shorted, and this little piece comes here. Doesn't it short here? No, because these are radio frequency things. This is some kind of a stub they've put on the antenna, which has some kind of tuning effect or something. So, okay, that was a bit of a journey, wasn't it? I mean, the bottom line is that you hook up a lousy antenna to a radio, you got a lousy radio. It doesn't matter what you do. The antenna is where it all starts. Now it just looks like four screws down below here. 4 screws. Oh, I haven't decided what to do about this or that yet. So my tendency is to cut the speaker wires off. Now is that going to lead to confusion? So there's a green wire here, cut and going nowhere. What is that? I don't see any other, I don't see the other half of it anywhere, so we don't worry about it, but that's odd, isn't it? It's soldered onto a terminal here, comes through and just, and just ends. So pretty clear that this wire comes from here. I can't get that confused. And this wire, I can't. Yeah. So this, yeah. So there's two speaker wires coming up here. One heading into the switching arrangement here to control, I guess, the tone of this one only. Wouldn't they control the tone of the big one too? A little bit. Okay, best thing I can do is cut these wires off right at the terminal of the speakers. Terminals of the speakers. Here. Now we gotta take these buttons out, screws holding them in. In some radios, these buttons are plugged into the chassis. You can just pop a plug out. And that's fine, but in other radios, if you don't have the switches plugged in, the sound will never make it to the speaker. Oh. These have also been removed already. I can tell from the paint on them. Don't drop it. That's loose. This wire's got to get untangled. This is all free. She's ready to come out. I'm just going to set this in here for the ride. And we got to do the bottom screws down here. I just project the radio over the edge of my bench. Okay, screws out. Let's see if we can get this out of here now. Kind of stuck in there. There we go. Okay, so I was wrong about the bottom. There is a plate. There is a screen on the bottom. There's a wire. You can see it there. That catches one of the screws. That screws up into the cabinet, and that's how that screen is electrically connected to the chassis through one of the bottom screws. Okay, hey, no shortage of parts in this radio. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere in here. Holy smokes. You can see this big resistor is darkened in the middle here a little bit. The surface of this one is cracked. We'll use the close-up camera, we'll go through this. Right now I just want to try to spot the fuse. I'm still guessing there's a fuse in here. You know, it just should not be under here. It should not be under there. So we follow the cord. It's the switch, Jim. The switch is what you're really looking for. Okay, so here's the switch lever. So now, normally there's an electrical effect from pushing. There's a switch hooked up to the on-off switch, but it may not be in this one. It's just possible that all this off button is doing is releasing all these buttons, so none of them are down. It could be that any one of these down, and some weird stuff up there. Any one of these down and the set is on, because this just feels mechanical. Well, yeah, that just feels mechanical. So what's that mean? If there's no off switch here, on-off switch to be broken, then you would think one of these would work up here, but none of them appear to do it. So there's got to be something else going on. Let's get back to following. Well, the power cord does head up into this area. Can we not? Can we not trace it all the way up there? So it's here. Yeah, see both sides. There it is. A whole cord going through that hole. Right in behind here. Oh boy, look at this. This is a showstopper right from the start. Now there's a metal cover here. Do you think they're covering the high voltage? I think if we look in there, we'll see something. Let's look in there. From a point of view of the radio designer, the 120 volts coming in needs to be cared for a little extra than other things, because it's exposed right to the power line. So there's nothing but a house breaker involved on the on-off switch. Let's get a little more light in here. Well, we're just looking down the back of that switch structure, just some connections in there. I don't see a switch. I don't see anything special inside this metal housing here that I'm looking at, but they're probably protecting a 120 volt terminal somewhere in there. Can we see? We can't see anything at all inside where the on-off wires go. Oh boy, they're coming way down from up here. And way up at the top of the switch structure here. Yeah, get my camera in there. Yeah. And if I push the on-off switch. So what you're seeing, see the bar moving there. So that's the release bar that will release any other button. Let me put another button down. Another button is down. Now I'll push the off button, and it releases the one. That's not helping at all, though. I mean, there's a fat chance we can see. Maybe I can look up from this way. Yeah, if I can look down, I can look up. I'll work the switch here. So there I can see now what I've been feeling. I've been feeling that spring there. I've been feeling that. There's no electrical switch here. It's just pushing the release bar. So then my earlier conclusion that you have to have one of these switches depressed. That's a very strange arrangement. That would mean they would have to put the 120 volts against every one of these switches. I mean, they wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do that. Why are you not switching on? But did I do something silly? I don't think so. It's pretty easy to plug it in and turn it on. I don't know what silly thing I would have done. The no dial lights came on. There. Well, I don't know what to do, so let's just look this thing over. Maybe in the course of looking it over, I'll find where the fuse is. So these are the terminal connectors for the antenna. Going in here. Heading heading out, and of course the tuning, a lot of the tuning is up on top here. So like all this stuff. So antenna heads up there. Then we come down here to this terminal strip with these high wattage resistors on it. Now if one of these is open, that can't deaden the radio totally. I mean the panel lights should have come on. So that's probably a superficial situation there, but well, I wouldn't bet on it. Look at how cracked that guy is. So these are the harder working resistors. This one appears to have survived, although he's needs a haircut or something. And we'll come down here. Oh, this is so jammed in everywhere. Parts running on all angles, crisscrossing everywhere. Fortunately, I'm not seeing unreliable components here. I'm seeing what are pretty reliable components. Those resistors look unhappy. So that's 68K. Well, the two of them are in parallel. Why would they do that? Get the wattage. Maybe they didn't quite get enough when these guys have been running hot. They don't look in the best of shape. Funny, huh? You think why don't you just put one bigger one in there, a higher wattage one? But surplus in the warehouse. Gotta use them up. What a rat's nest this radio is. Wow. It's just parts going in every which way in here. Looks like a big black capacitor there. So I'm looking for overheated parts or just weird stuff, but there's so much in here to look at. It'd be so easy to miss something worth spotting. Look at that thing. There's the capacitor right in the open. I'm sure that's a capacitor. A unsealed capacitor. Now what is that? So this is probably a shield. Seen this before, right on, mounted on the bottom. Is that a tube socket? That's a tube socket. So it's mounted right onto a tube socket. I've seen this a few times, and I don't quite understand why. Exactly why it needs to be done. This is some kind of isolation or something. And it's just got cardboard on the outside of it because a big flat piece of metal in the back of the radio is going to cause a short circuit sooner or later. The creaking you hear is people walking, my wife or my mother-in-law walking around upstairs, in case you're wondering what that creaking sound is. Look at this thing. This is buried like 10 layers down. And the thing I'm talking about is that whatever it is that's in that sleeve. Maybe a resistor? There's another one. Another part sleeved with something. That's all the rusty looking stuff. Fair bit of rust in here. A lot of spider webby dirt. Cabinet looks fantastic, so you'd assume this thing has been in an air-conditioned house in a favored location its entire life. You know, that resistor, the one that's dead center of the screen now, a red, purple, yellow. Look at the purple paint. It's all flaking off. Now, is that because it got too hot? a nice green capacitor. That's nice. So this is poorly done. This wire here, what is this? That's all over the place. I don't usually leave frayed wire like that. Why is it like that? Is it a shield braid? What's happening with this? It's hooked up to something. Yeah, it looks like it's just soldered there. Oh, it is a shield. It's a shield coming out of a cable. That's what it is. Okay. That's what's going on there. There's another bunch of large wattage resistors. What's the matter with this guy? What's that black spot? $10 ohms. Seem to be intact. There is so much in this radio. And look at it. It's all... They put this together under low light or something. Look at how just... Yikes. No fuse appearing. Now look at these. This capacitor's butted up right against the... against the terminal strip. They all seem to be in, kind of okay condition. These black ones, I guess, are just molded paper capacitors. They might all be bad. We're not getting anywhere near that because no power in the radio. So what test could we do? What is a capacitor way down? Is that a capacitor way down there? Okay, what can we do next to kind of trace out the situation with that? No power. No power. The power cord disappears up inside here. Can't seem to see any of it. Still left with the impression that the on-off switch, there has to be 5 of them. That's just not sitting well with me. It would be any depressed switch. Oh, for crying out loud, here it is right here. Here it is right here. This is probably the on-off switch here. What I was going to say was it should be that any lever pushed down results in the switch being operated. So I'll bet you we push any lever and this, any push button down, this lever is going to move. You see, I'm just full of crap, but maybe this is the problem. Maybe not. Okay, so that's the off switch. Oh, I missed that before, that it works this lever. Oh, did you hear that? I heard that. That's the FM switch. That's not even the on-off switch. Jim, come on, get with it. Let's try this again. Off switch. So this is a bit of a... So only the FM throws this lever, so I don't know what it is. It's definitely not the on-off switch, though. I say we try again. We try again. Maybe the radio came on. I didn't realize it. Maybe all the panel lights are gone. I don't have any speaker hooked up here, so just a little bit of caution in doing this. We just want to see that power gets into the radio. So current situation with that is No power in the outlet. So right now we would turn this off. This is off. Off is off. On. 117. It's all here at the outlet, but it's going through that light bulb. No power being drawn by the radio. Okay, turn the power off. We'll pick the same spot. I think it's actually this one, isn't it? That's a medium wave switch is on. So let's see, maybe these tubes will light up. Maybe that's what will tell us that it actually did come on last time. Now, I don't have speakers connected, but the wires are not shorted. And they're just, this is hanging in an okay place. The wires are okay. Took the magic eye out and put a bag on the on that. We're ready. No power. Wow, we're really stumped here, right at square one. Right at square one. Let me try this. I'm going to shut the power off. Now, what I was going to do doesn't make any sense at all. So I won't even tell you. Wow. What do you do about a situation like this? Stop for a while and ponder it. Ponder it. Is there some way I can sneak the power in past whatever the problem is? I don't know. Maybe the schematic might help a lot with this.